Hey everybody, my name is Purti Chavla. I'm the manager for Ielts here at Leverage Live. Welcome to this session. So today we have a couple of special guests here, people like you, students like you who are also on their journey to study abroad and planning for Ielts. And these guys have actually taken the exam. So they will be able to help you out with certain tips and strategies and take you through their whole journey so that you can mirror it or take cues from them and use it to enhance your learning as well. So let's start off with introducing first. So Mudit, let's start with you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks a lot, Purti ma'am, for giving me this opportunity, and I'm welcoming you all to this amazing session. So my name is Mudit Jhori, and I took my IELTS in December last year, and I got a 7.5 band overall, and it was really amazing the experience which I went through with IELTS through Leverage Edu, because I am planning to go for my further studies abroad next year in the UK, for which I had to take the IELTS exam. So I was really confused on what to do now. So I got in touch. Fortunately for me, I had the Leverage Edu team. They helped me guide through all the things, and they helped me through IELTS. And they introduced me, and they took me through all the sessions and all, and it was really amazing experience overall. And
so Mudit, what course are you looking into?
I'm looking into business management.
All right, so UK, right? That's
Yeah.
All right, Rahi, moving on to you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I am Rahi Sahani, and I am from Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. I am currently working as a climate change and sustainability consultant with a company called Think Through Consulting based out of New Delhi. And yes, so as far as IELTS is concerned, I did appear for my IELTS exam last month, and I happened to score a band 8 overall. And yes, the experience has been amazing so far with Leverage.
Absolutely. All right, Mrinmay, moving on to you.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Mrinmay Nagvekar. I'm from Mumbai, Maharashtra. Currently, I'm working as a B2B marketing manager at CultFit. And next year, like this year in fall 22, I'm planning to go to UK for my second master's. I've already done my MBA, but I'm looking forward to my second master's now. And I'm here to answer all of your queries and questions. I know you're going to have a lot of questions when it comes to writing. So yeah, I'm going to be here to answer all of those questions.
Absolutely. The most challenging aspect of the entire exam, really. All right, so guys, all of us are here to take you through, how did they start with their prep. You would realize that they are also sailing the same boat as you, because everyone has, buttloads of questions when it comes to the exam, or how to go about preparing for it, how can you increase your score, some tips and tricks, all of that we are going to discuss here. So guys, let's start with the IELTS exam as a whole. So we all know that it's a language proficiency test. So there are certain aspects of the language, so let's say vocabulary or grammar, fundamentally, which we need to be aware of. As such, they are not going to check your grammar or vocab separately, but it is integrated into the kind of questions you're getting. So let's say if you already are at a certain level, your basics are clear, so you would be able to manage to write your answers or speak correctly at least, and then there's vocabulary and what you need to go with and all that. So between these 4 modules, listening, reading, writing and speaking, which one did you think was to begin with was easy and you'd be able to manage it?
I think for me, I also scored a band of 8.5 in speaking. So I think speaking, if you have a natural flair of, being able to communicate well with people, I think speaking should not be an issue, and, it should probably come very naturally to you. So I genuinely found speaking to be fairly easier. And the one module which I certainly, till now I find it difficult is has to be reading. I don't know, for some reason, you have to be very attentive, and it in a way is quite time consuming as well.
Right.
So yes.
Hence, the strategies would come in to help you out which questions you'd have to take first and attempt later, and how are you supposed to tackle each question. Okay, so speaking. So, of course, if you naturally are at a certain level, you would be able to speak fluently. Otherwise, you would require help to how, go on taking answers. What is it that you're supposed to speak? So, Mudit, did you also, like Rahi, already have a knack for it, or did you face any issue with speaking?
No, actually, initially I faced a lot of issues because even though I had been speaking English since my childhood, but coming to this part, I felt really unconfident very much time. So, in order to build confidence, what I did was I did more and more practices with Purti ma'am. She took a lot of sessions with me, and also I personally practiced with some of my family members or friends. So practice was the key for me in speaking. It helped me build an overall flow. What I did was I had planned when I had to give Ielts, and every day I used to allot a specific time for speaking. For example, 2 or 3 minutes. I had 2 or 3 minutes a daily session with any of my friends or family, and these daily sessions till my exam really helped me build a flow, even though I didn't have one.
All right. So once you understand how to go about doing it, then there's no shortcut to practice. But of course, you need to understand what is it that the examiner is looking for, and how are you supposed to answer, and then develop that habit. You are able to get over your hesitation or build the fluency. Understanding after, of course, how to go about doing it, and then with practice, you're able to hone that skill. All right. How about, lack of vocabulary or grammar? Did anyone face any issue like that for speaking?
Yeah, like in vocabulary, it is generally stated that we should use a lot of vocabulary. So what happens sometimes that people tend to focus totally on vocabulary and they forget about the content that they have to speak. So my strategy was build a normal natural flow and get to know more and more words, because if we know the meaning of different words and how to use them in different situations, the speaking will come naturally.
All right, great. Okay, let's talk about reading now. Right, so we have these long passages, and there are so many questions that one needs to answer. Of course, all the answers are already there in the passage, but still it seems to be the most one of the most problematic areas in the exam. So what are some things that you learned in the class which helped you crack this part? Mrinmay?
So when it is about me personally, so I did not face any problems when it comes to reading. I got 8.5 in reading, but the technique which I use is I do not go through the questions first. So what I do is I go for first 5 questions, and then I mark the keywords, I underline them, and then I search for those keywords in the passages. So that's how I went about it, and then I think I had more 4 or 5 extra minutes when the test was done. So that's how I worked upon my reading part. I underlined the important words or sentences which I have to find in the passage, and it helped me a lot.
Did you mean that you don't read the passage first, but the questions?
Yes. I read the questions first, but I do not go through the entire question set. So if we have, say, 10 questions or 12 questions, I do not read all the questions. I read like 4 or 5 questions. Then I go to the passage and I read, because everything is according to the questions, right? The questions, the answers are not jumbled. So if the first question is there, then the answer has to be in the first passage itself. So that's how I went about it.
All right, so things to note down, that you don't have to necessarily go through the passage first. You start with the question. So it is going to be too much if you go on starting, reading the passage, underlining, understanding everything which is there. Academic passages are heavy. That is given. They are taken from certain sources where you might not know about these, ideas or topics first, and then they are embedded with a lot of information. So if you waste your time in reading, because when you go to the questions, you will have to again come back to the passage to find out the answer. You cannot memorize everything. So don't start with the reading of the passage, but directly jump to the question. And what worked for Vinmay is to not go through all the questions in one go. Take first section, so let's say a set of questions first, identifying keywords, and then going back to the passage. Understanding which questions are in sequence immensely helps you, because it helps you to narrow down the text that you have to read. So let's say first answer would be initially, not always necessarily in the first paragraph, could be in the second as well, but then you have to run your eyes through for the initial part. And let's say if you're getting 2 answers and you didn't find the third one, you got the fourth one, so the third answer has to be in between second and fourth. So all of your true false not given questions, yes no not given, any type of fill in the blank, so summary completion, sentence completion, MCQ or table, diagram, all of them are in sequence. So you know which area of the text to look for, and then you can save up time from these questions and use it later for the other ones, which do take more time. They're not difficult as such, they're just time consuming, that's all. So you've got to understand and prepare that strategy, and in the sessions you get to know these are the questions you attempt earlier and then the rest of them later, so on and so forth. And how is it that you're going to approach each question type. Rahi, how was reading for you? You still find it?
Yeah.
What did you score?
I mean, I don't know. I scored a 7.5 in reading. So yes, I mean, I don't know, somehow I tend to get lost in the passage. I mean, exactly what Mrinmay was telling, that you don't really have to get lost in the passage and be more focused on the questions. And that's something everybody should take a note of, that please just be very careful, just take a small chunk of questions, and just because I think a lot of times the questions only they have certain keywords which you will be able to also be able to trace in the passage, and that is what will really help you. So yes, that's how I looked at it. But yes, so hopefully, yeah.
Absolutely right. And it's not like the first time you're trying on a couple of passages or couple of questions, you might get the answers in one go or might not. So you develop whatever strategy you learn, you then practice and develop that so that it gets internalized in your mind and you're able to get to it. So for instance, Radhika, is it possible to mark keywords in the computer-based test? Yes, it is possible. So you select your text, right click on it, they will give you 2 options, highlight and notes. So if you select highlight, the text turns yellow. It is a bit of hassle though, to be frank, to do that, but if you're able to manage it, you can. So let's say not every keyword, but some words you want to highlight, you can do that. But please ensure that you're practicing then in the same exam environment that you will get in the real exam then. So if you're planning for computer-based test, try doing the computer-based test papers only, mocks and everything. Matching the heading is tough for you, Roshan, definitely. Match the heading questions are definitely the most time consuming, and which is why I would recommend that you do them in the end. And then there's a separate strategy which is different from other questions that you solve with, and that's what we discuss, of course, in the sessions. But you start with the passage first and then go to the headings. It's the opposite as other questions. That's what it is. All right, let's talk about writing now, which is also one aspect. And here I'd like to point out that throughout the country, or rather the world, so what Ielts does is they take out certain statistics where they tell on an average how many students, what are they getting and all that. So writing is one area which is the weakest for all the students. Now you need to understand that Ielts is not there to check your technical know-how or knowledge. So all of the students, what they do or they end up doing is that they just pour whatever they want or whatever they know on that topic, onto a sheet, or they type it out, whatever they know around the topic. But that's not what they're trying to see. They're trying to see, or they're trying to assess your ability to write formally, to the point, precise answers, not trying to assess what you know about the topic. So there are certain parameters or descriptors that Ielts provide you with, which you will have to follow. If you don't, they're not going to give you a good band score, no matter how well you think you might have written. So vocabulary and grammar is 50% of your score, depends on that. And then there's this entire structure of the answer. There are two kinds of questions that you're expected to do, be it in academic exam, which is for higher studies, academic IELTS, or general training for PR. Two types of writing questions which you're supposed to do, among which the second one is the same for all. So the essay that you're supposed to write would be the same. Now, it has to be written in a certain manner, in certain paragraphs. You can't change them on your own. Every paragraph needs to be, again, organized in a certain order, which all of you, of course, you get to know in every detail in the sessions. So let's talk about writing. How was writing for you, Mudit?
So as you mentioned that I followed a proper structure which had been given through Leverage. So my overall focus was on following the structure, because I had given so many mocks, and my strategy was to, as I earlier told, I had to practice more and more, because practice makes perfect, I believe. So I practiced a lot of writing questions, because there are different variety of writing questions. There can be process, or any map can be given. There are a variety of questions that we can get, and we don't know the topic actually. So my overall focus was on bettering my structure. So by improving my structure, I was able to inculcate it in whatever question that I got. So yeah, focus on the structure.
Absolutely. Mrinmay, how was it for you?
So it was initially very, very difficult for me, because I had been attending online lectures, and then I've been working from home. So I was not used to writing. So I had chosen this thing, paper-based test. So I had to practice a lot when it comes to handwriting and writing properly, because everything has to be proper, because they are going to actually read your handwriting and how you're actually writing. So it was really difficult for me initially, but then after I think a couple of weeks I could do better, and then I got overall 7.5 in writing. But handwriting plays a major role if you are going for paper-based test. So yeah.
Absolutely. So in the sense that the examiner should be able to read your writing. Okay, so if there's somebody who has a bad handwriting, I wouldn't really recommend paper-based tests for you, because they don't really cut marks for it, but as long as the words are legible to them, because otherwise they take it as a spelling error. Okay, so Vijay, you write he's asking, can we write in capital letters only? Writing you do normally, because then they mark it as a punctuation error if you write everything caps. But for listening and reading, yes, go for all words capital. So if my answer is book, BOOK, everything caps. That's the best way to go about it. More clarity, you wouldn't face any issue in any type of question, except in match the heading questions where you're supposed to write Roman numbers. That should be all small. Radhika, do we have to use certain words in writing? Well, yes. So, these are linkers, cohesive devices, which you'll have to use. So if you want to, let's say, add information, so additionally, moreover, furthermore, if you want to show contrast, so in contrast, as compared to, on the other hand, while, although, but, however, depending on what your purpose of writing is, you're going to use these certain conjunctions and linkers accordingly. So it's not like randomly you're going to throw in words, but it has to be relevantly used as well. But definitely you have to do it. 25% of your score is on how you organize your answer and how you link ideas together. 1/4 of your score. So definitely you have to do that. Sanika, I'm giving the exam for the first time. Can you just tell me in short what kind of questions come in writing? So Sanika, if you're planning for the academic exam, so you're going to get task 1, which is where they give you certain pictures and statistics and data, and you're supposed to talk about them. So describe it in minimum 150 words, and again there has to be a very proper order in what you would write in which paragraph, how many paragraphs for a certain answer, all of that. And then there's task 2, the essay. Here then they give you very social, common, everyday topics around education, crime, government, rural areas, urban areas. So nothing that you wouldn't really know of before, but different kinds of essays they give you: advantages, disadvantages, problem solution, agreement, disagreement. So depending on what type of essay it is, you have to go about doing it in a certain manner as well. So the kind of topics you get are everyday social topics, but they expect you to write academically. Okay, you all just need to understand this, that of course you can't give simple sentences if you want to get a 7+. For simple and complex, you'll get a 6. But if you only go for simple sentences, that's below 6, which we don't want, of course. For a 7, you will have to go beyond and show them that you are capable of using a variety of sentence structures. And when I say variety, so you have subordinate clauses, relative clauses, if conditionals, gerunds, multiple type of sentences that you'll have to give. Certain do's and don'ts, of course, when you come to writing as well, all of that we discuss in our sessions. But yes, in order to get a 7+, you cannot use simple sentences. Okay, somebody's asking, I'll pass out class 12 next year. So when should I take the exam? You don't give the exam, you take the exam. How much before I need to start my prep? Okay, that all depends on what sort of level you have in English. So let's say you're lacking in certain areas, you'll have to devote more time and effort. Because as you see from whatever these guys have been telling you, that despite the fact that even if you have an upper hand at English or you think you're doing okay, you will still need to practice according to Ielts and the kind of questions that they give you. So I'd say start as soon as possible, and the score that you get for Ielts is also valid for 2 years. So Radhika, for you as well. So, if you take it in 22, first half, you are done with one aspect of your application and then you can focus on other things. So for 22, 23, you have to start now. For 22, in fact, you guys are right at the brink of it. Somebody's asking how much money required in order to attend the exam. So you have to book your exam. Presently 14,700 is the price. Which exam is preferable, computer-based or paper-based tests? So, there are certain pros and cons to each of it. So let's see, Mrinmay, which type of exam did you take?
It was paper-based.
Okay, so did you feel that, what made you choose paper-based test?
When it comes to listening, we get extra 10 minutes. So that's why I went for paper-based exam.
But you know that extra 10 minutes is just for transfer. You don't get to hear the recording again.
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay. Absolutely. So, if you're comfortable with paper-based tests, do what you go with or what your strengths are. Don't do what other people are doing. Okay, let's see. Rahi, how about you?
I appeared for the computer-based one. Mostly because, you get the result in hardly 3-4 days and you don't really have to wait. And since, we've all been working from home and, so we have now kind of become accustomed to typing and not writing. So I think it didn't really make much of a difference.
All right. Now, coming on to, different sort of classes and the options that we are providing you with. I am going to take you through all of that we provide, and we'll also hear what sort of course and batch did these guys join. Okay, so these will be live online classes that Leverage Live is providing you with. We have multiple batches ranging from regular, fast track. Now, this is important because those of you who are planning for the September intake, you still have like a month, 4 weeks in your hands, so that you can, practice side by side, join a longer batch so that you get more interaction with your trainer. Those of you who are planning for 23, of course, I'd recommend the regular batches. Those of you, probably somebody here planning for Australia, May, June intake, you need to go for then the fast track batch so that everything is still covered, but a bit more quickly. Okay. Yeah. So we have multiple options: morning 2, timing 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12, or regular evening classes 8 to 9:30, Monday to Friday, whichever you feel would be more convenient for you. And then fast track are 2-week sessions. So even if let's say you're planning to give it in 15 days, 12 days. So things can be customized for you as well. So afternoon or evening batch, whatever you feel comfortable with. So Mudit, what did you have?
I had the regular batch 9 to 10:30 a.m.
Oh, the morning one then.
Yeah, morning batch.
Right. Rahi?
I had the fast track one, the evening batch.
Okay. And Mrinmay, how about you?
I had the evening batch. I think it was fast track, yes. 8 to 9:30, alternate days.
So did you guys immediately take your IELTS after preparation, or did you self-practice a bit as well?
Yeah, I think it is a good approach to, practice a little bit and then immediately go for it, because, everything is so fresh in your mind, and, so that's the approach that I followed. I practiced for 1 or 2 weeks and then I appeared for my exam.
Mudit?
Yeah, after completing my batch, I self-practiced for some time, for 1 or 2 weeks maybe, and then I gave my exam because everything was fresh in my mind as well.
Okay. Mrinmay, how about you?
Yeah, so actually before joining the classes, I had booked my date, so I did not really get a lot of time. But then I connected with Kritika, and then she helped me a lot to understand what all was there and what all topics were not covered in the class. She helped me to understand that as well.
All right. So since you had already booked, you had just a few days in your hand. So Kritika is another one of our trainers, for those of you who are here. So Mrinmay was in her batch. So we do also cover up for you in case you are in a hurry, you already booked your exam and you need certain extra help with your prep. All right. So I see somebody has planning for August intake, Pooja. Definitely I recommend then the fast track batch, so that you apply along with your score for the with your application. Anurag, can we give the exam twice? Can we take the exam twice? Yes, you can, if you're not satisfied with the first exam score. Absolutely. There's no limit on the number of times you could take it. I would strongly recommend that you don't go to the hassle of taking the exam over and over. Practice, prepare confidently, and just take the exam in one go. Which is why you need that sort of guidance and help. So, I was talking about the average score a bit earlier. So this is what happens. This is what people in India, students in India generally score. So you'd see writing and reading is the lowest, because these are areas which mostly people are not accustomed to, or even if you're in a habit of reading or writing, you need to go to academic reading and academic writing, which is entirely different. So you need to understand what is it that how you are supposed to write the exam, so that you don't have to do it over and over again. Why do that? Why waste time and energy and money and effort and all that? So a band 7+ is something that we always target, because that's what the universities ask for, which means a good user is still have room and potential for improvement. Band 8 is a very good user, 7.5 in between 6.5. So band 5 to 6 is generally what people are, or lower than this at present, and with help, with practice, with guidance, with our expertise, you get to your score and build a life further. So all of you would get a dashboard like this once you join in. I'll tell you how to join in. So you'll get a dashboard, you go to your dashboard, you get your own portal. At present, I'm just telling you how you could buy the courses. So if you see, go to our plans for IELTS, we have regular, fast track, sectional. If you just need help with, let's say, reading and speaking, or listening and reading, so 1 or 2 areas, not the entire plan, you could also go for that. So if you go to, let's say, the regular course, at present, this is what the value is, but with the discount codes I'm providing you, so you get a 40% off and you would be able to join here. Now, apart from, of course, these live classes, which will happen on our dashboard only, you get your whole schedule of, your batches, your study material, and mock tests also, now computer delivered tests, which you will be able to see. So all these sessions will be recorded. So even after your course is over, you can get back to the recordings and watch them in case you want to go back and revisit what all happened in this session. And now we have these online mock tests as well. So once you join in, you would be allotted and assigned certain number of tests, full mock tests, which you will be able to take. So you get that practice, and of course the feedback. As you go take tests, number of questions according to exam conditions. If you have GT, general training, you'll get that. If you have academic, you get that, depending on whatever type you have. So you have this own portal, of course, will be explained to you, user friendly. You'll be able to understand how and what you need to look into, how many tests you've done, what sort of areas that you're lacking in, remedial tests, all of that is available as well. So after the discount, this is what your final scoring will be. I'm also putting it here. Siddharth, if you're preparing for IELTS, you can't really skip English for SAT, as in, of course, fundamentally you'll learn, but you need to understand what sort of format and pattern of the exam for SAT is, because they have different kinds of questions, even though it is all English, but for particular sets of exam, you have different type of questions. You cannot just ignore that. So I would strongly recommend that you practice for both. All right, here, so putting the discount codes, you can directly just go to the website, offer the, write down the discount codes, we'll get an intimation, we'll, join you in batches. So you'll either you can go for regular batches or fast track, whatever timing you need to choose, of course. Once you speak to our counselors, you can also note down the phone number here. You will be able to understand when is the next module beginning. So next week now new modules will be beginning, so you could also join. So either for regular or fast track, time difference is there, full mock tests, practice material recordings, the personal trainer, all of that, and your trainer, all of that you would still get. All right, guys, thank you so much for attending today. Thank you so much. You've done fantastic, got a fantastic score. Nobody can stop you in terms of your, IELTS score as now. I'm sure all of you are in touch with your counselors here at Leverage Edu for your application. Bright futures ahead of you. I feel proud to be a little part of it as well. All the best for your journeys, and thank you for attending today. I hope you guys help these guys get over their hesitance, join the sessions and do as good or even better than you have. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Purti.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really amazing.
Nice to see you guys again.
Same here.